All right, ready to dive into Ragnarok Online.
Always ready.
I bet a lot of our listeners have spent hours in this world, grinding, leveling up.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But today, we're not here to min-max our stats or talk about the best builds.
Yep.
Today, we're going full lore nerd.
That's right.
We're going to explore the story behind Ragnarok Online. All the stuff that goes way deeper than those pixelated sprites.
It's pretty amazing when you start to dig into it.
So what kind of sources do we have for this deep dive?
Well, we've got excerpts from some in-game texts, like those chronicles and journals you find hidden around.
Oh, cool. I love finding those. Makes you feel like a real archaeologist.
Yeah. And we've also got some info from the official websites and even developer interviews. So we're really piecing together the whole picture here.
Okay, so we've got a good mix of primary and secondary sources.
You got it.
Sounds like we're ready to uncover some serious lore.
Let's do it.
So what's our mission for this deep dive?
Well, I think it's to really go beyond just the surface level. Most people think of Ragnarok Online as just a fun, kind of cute MMO.
Yeah, those pourings, come on. How can you not love those little guys?
But there's so much more to it.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
We're talking about a world with this rich history, complex factions, gods, monsters, political intrigue.
Whoa, hold on, gods. Like actual deities walking around.
Yep.
Okay, color me interested. You said something about political intrigue.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones, but with more magic and giant swords.
Now you're speaking my language. Okay, so where do we even begin with all this?
Well, a good place to start is with the cataclysmic Ragnarok events themselves.
Ah, Ragnarok. The end of the world as we know it. I'm guessing it's kind of a big deal in this game.
It is a big deal.
And our sources mention that it happens cyclically. Like the world literally ends and then starts over again.
Exactly. It's this endless cycle of creation and destruction.
Well, hold on. So every time Ragnarok happens, the whole world gets rearranged.
Pretty much. Imagine entire continents shifting. Mountains vanish, oceans form, civilizations get wiped out. It's mind-blowing.
That is mind-blowing. It's almost Lovecraftian in scale.
Right. It makes you realize just how insignificant we are in the grand scheme of things.
So is this cycle of Ragnarok what drives all the conflict in this world?
It definitely plays a huge role. You see, every Ragnarok event is influenced by this entity known as the Heart of Ymir.
The Heart of Ymir.
Yeah.
What is that? Some kind of magical artifact?
Think of it as the world's core, the very foundation of Midgard, the continent where the game takes place.
Okay, so it's powerful.
Powerful doesn't even begin to describe it.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
And here's the thing. The Heart of Ymir was shattered into fragments during one of the Ragnarok events.
Oh, so that's why everyone's always after those fragments.
Exactly. Each fragment holds immense power for creation and for destruction.
No wonder everyone wants a piece of that.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate power source.
Yeah.
And everyone, from gods to demons to humans, is trying to get their hands on it.
That makes sense. So how does this tie into the timeline of the world?
Well, the world's history is basically split into two major eras. The Age of Gods and the Age of Man.
Okay, the Age of Gods. That sounds pretty self-explanatory.
But even within the Age of Gods, there's a lot of turmoil and change. We're talking about a time before and after the 1,000-Year War.
1,000 years of war. Between who?
Well, you've got the Aesir, the Vanir, and the Jotun.
Those are basically the Norse gods, right? Like Odin, Thor, Loki, all those guys.
Yep, those are the Aesir. They represent order and structure.
Then you've got the Vanir, like Freyja, who are associated with nature and fertility.
Right, and then you have the Jotun, who are basically giants. They represent chaos.
So 1,000 years of these powerful beings clashing. Yeah, I can see why they call it the 1,000-Year War.
And it wasn't just some minor scuffle either. We're talking epic battles, divine magic, the whole 9 yards.
I bet there were some serious casualties.
Oh, yeah. Our sources mention Baldur and Fenrir dying during this time.
Wow, those are some heavy hitters. And Didn't Surt, the fire giant, tried to destroy the world during this war.
He did. He invaded Midgard with his army of fire demons, trying to literally burn everything down.
Yikes. That's a bad day at the office.
It's a good thing the gods and other forces were able to stop him.
So how did the 1,000-Year War finally end?
Well, eventually everyone realized that this endless fighting was getting them nowhere.
Okay.
So they agreed to a truce between gods, demons, and humans.
It's fragile.
Oh, it is. Keeping the peace with so many powerful factions is no easy feat. And that's where groups like the Assassin's Guild come in.
Wait, the assassins are trying to keep the peace? I thought they were, Assassins.
Their methods might be questionable, but their goal is to prevent any one faction from gaining too much power.
So they're like these shadowy guardians, making sure no one rocks the boat too hard.
You could say that. They operate in the shadows, eliminating threats to the balance of power.
It's kind of hard to tell if they're the bad guys or just playing a really, really long game.
That's the thing about Ragnarok Online. It's full of moral gray areas.
Sounds like my kind of world. So we've got this fragile peace established after the 1,000-Year War.
Right.
What happens next?
Well, eventually, the Age of Gods comes to an end.
How does that happen? Do the gods just decide to retire to some celestial golf course?
Not exactly. There's this event called the Day of Despair.
Day of Despair, that doesn't sound good.
It wasn't. The sources are a bit vague on the details, but it seems like something major happened that caused the gods to retreat from active involvement in Midgard.
So the gods basically said, peace out, humans, you're on your own now.
Something like that.
That's a lot of responsibility to drop on humanity.
It was, but it also marked the beginning of the Age of Man.
And with the gods out of the picture, what happens to Midgard?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. We see the rise of human kingdoms, empires, and all sorts of new conflicts.
Okay, so it's like a whole new chapter in the story of Ragnarok Online.
Exactly. And one of the most important kingdoms to emerge is the Rune Midgard's kingdom.
Rune Midgards. That name rings a bell. Wasn't that the kingdom founded by Tristan Gable the First?
The very same. He and 6 other warriors banded together after repelling Jormungandr, the world serpent, to establish the kingdom.
Hold on, repelling the world serpent. That sounds like a pretty impressive resume builder.
Oh, it was an epic battle. Jormungandr was this massive serpent that could wrap itself around the entire world.
Okay, that's terrifying. So Tristan Gable and his buddies managed to defeat this world-ending serpent, and then they decide, hey, let's start a kingdom.
That's the gist of it. And they established a unique system of governance with 7 royal families all vying for the throne.
7 families. Talk about a recipe for drama.
Oh, it gets even more complicated.
How so?
They used this elaborate ritual called the Ritual of Blessing to choose their next king.
So it wasn't just a matter of inheritance. They had to prove themselves worthy.
Exactly. It was the sacred ceremony, steeped in tradition, meant to determine the most capable ruler.
Sounds intense.
And to make things even more interesting, there's this legendary curse on the Gaybold family.
A curse? What kind of curse?
It's called the Prince Curse. Basically, the firstborn son of the Gaybold line is doomed to die young.
Oh, wow. Talk about a family burden.
It's all thanks to Jormungandr. He cursed the Gaybold family for defeating him.
Wow, that's some serious grudge holding. So you've got this kingdom with 7 families vying for power, a sacred ritual to choose their king, and a deadly curse hanging over the founding family.
It's a recipe for chaos, and sure enough, chaos ensues.
What happens? Does someone finally snap and stage a coup?
Not exactly. During a recent ritual of blessing, the kingdom was invaded.
Invaded? By who?
The sources aren't clear on who was behind it, but it threw the entire kingdom into turmoil.
And I bet things got even worse when the Terra Gloria went missing, right?
The Terra Gloria, that's the crown containing the Star of Blessing, a key part of the ritual.
And it just vanished.
Poof. Gone. And to make matters even stranger, it turns out the Star of Blessing they were using was a fake.
A fake? Who would even try to pull that off? And why?
That's the million, zillion, zini question, isn't it?
It definitely is.
And this is where the Ragnarok Corporation enters the picture.
The Ragnarok Corporation. Aren't they the guys behind all those airships?
They are. They're known for their technological advancements.
So they're like the Tony Starks of Ragnarok Online.
Yeah, but with maybe a little less moral compass.
Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good.
You see, they're also known for their experiments with rune stones.
Rune stones. What are those?
They're basically artificial replicas of those Heart of Ymir fragments.
Hold on, so they're trying to create their own sources of ultimate power.
That's what it looks like. And it's causing quite a stir. Some people see it as a technological marvel, others as a dangerous violation of natural laws.
I can see both sides. Like, imagine if someone figured out how to create mini black holes. Sure, it'd be cool, but also terrifying.
Exactly. And the Ragnarok Corporation isn't the only group experimenting with the Heart of Ymir. Don't forget about the Arunafeld states.
Arunafeld states. I'm not as familiar with those guys.
They're known for their strong religious beliefs. They follow a faith called Freyjanity, which is centered around the goddess Freyja.
Okay, so they're the devoutly religious folks.
And some factions within Freyjanity believe that the Heart of Ymir is the key to bring about the second coming of Freyja.
So they're messing with powerful forces too. Sounds like everyone in this world is playing with fire.
They are, and it's leading to all sorts of unintended consequences.
Okay, so we've got political turmoil in Rune Midgards, a shady corporation messing with powerful tech, and a religious group dipping their toes into some seriously dangerous magic.
It's a lot to keep track of.
It is. And we haven't even scratched the surface of the individual characters who are shaping this world.
That's right. We've got ambitious nobles, scheming advisors, mysterious assassins, and even a few reluctant heroes.
It's like a whole cast of characters straight out of a fantasy epic.
And each one of them has their own role to play in the unfolding drama of Ragnarok Online.
Okay, I am officially hooked. Can't wait to dive deeper into this world.
Let's do it.
This is going to be one epic deep dive.
It definitely is. So where do we even begin with all these characters?
Well, let's start with Rune Midgards, the heart of all that political drama. Any standout personalities there?
Oh, plenty. Like Helmut Lugenberg, for example.
Helmut Lugenberg. That name sounds familiar.
He's that ambitious military leader, always pushing for expansion, believes in strength through sheer numbers.
Ah, the classic might makes right kind of guy. Always a popular stance in fantasy worlds.
And he's not afraid to step on a few toes to get what he wants, which of course makes him a major player in the kingdom's power struggles.
Okay, so we've got our ambitious military leader. Anyone else stirring the pot in Rune Midgards?
Well, there are the Wigner siblings, of course.
The Wigners. Tell me more about them.
You've got Jürgen, Katrin, and Isaac, each one vying for control within their family.
Oh, so it's a family affair. Sounds like a Shakespearean tragedy waiting to happen.
It really does. And their internal conflicts spill over into the kingdom's politics, adding even more fuel to the fire.
So we've got scheming nobles, ambitious military leaders. Any tragic heroes in the mix?
Well, you could say King Tristan Gabel III fits that description.
The king himself, what's his story?
Initially, he was seen as this wise and benevolent ruler, but then he mysteriously disappeared.
Vanished. Just like that.
Yep. No one knows what happened to him. Some say he's dead, others believe he's in hiding, but his disappearance has left a huge power vacuum in the kingdom.
Wow. Talk about adding insult to injury. The king goes missing, and there's a curse on his family. The Gabolds can't catch a break.
It's a tough gig being royalty in Rune Midgards.
Okay, so we've got the major players in Rune Midgards. What about some of the other characters mentioned in our sources? Any that stand out to you?
Well, there's Nihil Miseria Hein, for example. His name literally means nothing but misery.
Ouch. That's a rough name to live up to. What's his deal?
His grandfather basically gave him that name because he had such low expectations for him.
Talk about a vote of no confidence. So Neil's got this family legacy of, well, misery hanging over him.
Exactly. And he's constantly trying to prove his worth to escape the shadow of his name.
It's amazing how these characters, even in a fantasy world, grapple with such relatable issues. The weight of expectations, the pressure to succeed, it's all there.
Absolutely. And then there's Skia Nurius, the Shadow Princess.
The Shadow Princess. What makes her so shadowy?
Well, she's constantly overshadowed by her more outgoing and popular twin sister.
Ah, the classic tale of sibling rivalry. Always a recipe for drama.
Exactly. And Skia feels invisible, trapped by her royal role. She's constantly yearning for something more.
It's like she's living in the shadow of her sister's success, trying to find her own place in the world.
And that struggle for identity is something that I think a lot of people can relate to, even if they don't have a royal title.
It's so true. These characters, whether they're kings or princesses or just ordinary folks, they're all dealing with real human emotions and challenges.
Exactly. And that's what makes them so compelling. It's what makes the world of Ragnarok Online feel so alive and relatable.
Okay, so we've met some of the key players in Rune Midgards, and we've seen how they're shaping the kingdom's destiny.
Right.
But Midgard is more than just one kingdom, right? What about the other countries and regions mentioned in our sources?
Oh, we've barely scratched the surface. We've got the Schwarzwald Republic, the Runefelt states, even the mysterious land of Merrill, each one with its own unique culture, history, and challenges.
Okay, I'm ready for a world tour. Let's start with Schwarzwald. What makes it unique?
Well, they're known for their technological prowess, especially in the city of Juno.
Juno, that rings a bell. Isn't that the floating city?
The one and only. It's basically this marvel of engineering suspended in the air using some kind of advanced technology.
Wow. That's got to be a sight to behold. What kind of tech are we talking about here?
Well, the Reichenberg Corporation has a strong presence in Juno. They're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible with their runestone technology.
Ugh, those runestones again. Always causing a stir. So is Juno like Their headquarters or something?
It's definitely one of their major hubs. They've got research labs, factories, even testing grounds up there.
Sounds like a playground for mad scientists.
Yeah.
What kind of things are they working on up there?
That's the million zini question, isn't it? They're very secretive about their research. But rumors abound about new weapons, advanced airships, even experiments with artificial life forms.
Okay, now that's getting a little creepy, but also kind of cool. It's like they're playing God up there in their floating city.
You could say that, and not everyone's happy about it.
I can imagine. Messing with the fundamental forces of nature is bound to ruffle some feathers. So what about the Arunafeld states? We know they're the religious folks, but what's life actually like there?
It's a land steeped in tradition and spirituality, with a strong connection to the goddess Freyr.
Okay, so it's all temples and rituals and stuff.
Not entirely. They have bustling cities, thriving trade routes, and their own unique art and culture. But their faith is woven into every aspect of their lives.
So it's like a balance between the material and the spiritual.
Exactly. And their faith isn't just some passive belief. It actively influences their politics, their laws, and even their technology.
Interesting. So it's not like they reject technology altogether, but they approach it from a different perspective.
Right. They believe that technology should be used in service of their faith, not in opposition to it, which sometimes puts them at odds with more technologically driven nations like Schwarzwald.
I could see how that could create some tension. So we've got Rune Midgart's, the heart of political intrigue, Schwarzwald, the technological powerhouse, and Arunafeld's, the land of faith.
Right.
What about Merrill? What's the deal with that place?
Merrill is shrouded in mystery. Our sources don't reveal much about it.
Ooh, a land of secrets. I love it. What kind of mysteries are we talking about here?
Well, some say it's a land of ancient magic, untouched by the conflicts of the outside world. Others whisper of hidden ruins, lost civilizations, and powerful artifacts. But very few people have actually ventured into Merrill and returned to tell the tale.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. It's like the forbidden zone of Ragnarok Online. I can just imagine adventurers setting off on expeditions, hoping to uncover its secrets.
And some say those who venture too deep into Merrill never return the same. Some say they come back changed, haunted by what they've seen.
Ooh, spooky. This is giving me some serious Lovecraftian vibes. I love it.
Merrill is definitely one of the most intriguing locations in Ragnarok Online, a place where even the bravest adventurers tread carefully.
So we've got these 4 major countries, each with its own distinct character and culture.
Right.
But this is a fantasy world, right?
Right.
We can't forget about the natural wonders and the, well, less than friendly inhabitants.
Absolutely. Midgard is full of diverse environments, from lush forests to treacherous mountains to scorching deserts.
Okay, I'm ready for a virtual safari. What are some of the must-see locations for adventurers?
Well, there's Peon, a peaceful village surrounded by lush forests. It's known for its friendly inhabitants and its beautiful scenery.
Sounds like a good place to relax after a hard day of slaying monsters.
Then there's Mount Mjolnir, named after Thor's legendary hammer. It's a towering mountain range, home to all sorts of dangerous creatures.
Okay, maybe I'll skip that one. I'm not much of a mountain climber.
Yeah.
What about deserts? Are there any vast, sandy wastelands where adventurers can test their survival skills?
There's the Sograt Desert, a sprawling wasteland of scorching sands and unforgiving heat. It's said to be home to ancient ruins, lost treasures, and of course, deadly creatures.
Okay, now that sounds like an adventure. But I'm bringing lots of water and maybe some sunscreen.
A wise choice.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for something truly challenging, there's the ash vacuum.
Ash vacuum, what is that? Some kind of post-apocalyptic wasteland?
It's more like a realm of pure chaos. The sources suggest it might be a byproduct of those recurring Ragnarok events.
So it's a place where the fabric of reality is kind of frayed.
Exactly. Imagine shattered dimensions, unpredictable magic, and creatures that defy description.
Nope. Hard pass. I'm sticking to the forests and mountains, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But all this talk about travel makes me wonder, how do people actually get around in this world? Are we talking horses and carriages or something a bit more fantastical?
Midgard has a surprisingly diverse transportation system. You've got traditional methods like horses and carriages, but also more advanced technology thanks to the Reichenberg Corporation. Remember those airships?
Oh yeah, those things are awesome. Imagine soaring above those landscapes in one of those.
And if you're looking for something even faster, there are rumors of magical portals.
Oh, magic portals. Sign me up. Where do they lead?
That's the mystery. Some say they connect different parts of Midgard, others whisper of portals to other realms entirely.
Ooh, that's getting into some serious multiverse theory. But I bet using those portals comes with a price, right?
There are always risks associated with powerful magic. Some say using these portals can drain your life force. Others whisper of alternate realities where things aren't quite right.
Okay, now that's creamy. I think I'll stick to the airships for now. At least I know where I'm going.
A wise choice.
This world tour has been amazing. We've gone from political intrigue to technological marvels, from lush forests to realms of pure chaos.
And we haven't even touched on the creatures yet. Midgard is teeming with life, both friendly and not so friendly.
Okay, bring on the beasties. What kind of creatures are we talking about?
Well, you can't talk about Ragnarok Online without mentioning the Porings.
The Porings, those adorable little pink blobs. I've heard they're the mascot of the game.
They are, and they're just as cute in person as they are in the game. But don't let their appearance fool you. Some Porings can be surprisingly tough.
Okay, so always respect the Poring. Noted. What about some of the more intimidating creatures?
Well, there are the Grim Reapers. They're often associated with death and the underworld.
Grim Reapers. Sounds like a bad time. What are they like?
They're tall, skeletal figures shrouded in black robes and wielding scythes. They're said to be incredibly powerful with a mastery of dark magic.
Yeah, I think I'll steer clear of those guys. But what about dragons? Every fantasy world needs dragons. What kind of dragons do we have in Ragnarok Online?
Dragons in Midgard come in all shapes and sizes. Some are indeed those classic fire-breathing behemoths, capable of laying waste to entire cities. But others are more serpentine, with venomous fangs and the ability to control the elements.
So, encountering a dragon could be either a blessing or a curse, depending on the dragon. What other creatures play a significant role in the lore of Ragnarok Online?
There's Baphomet, a powerful demon lord often associated with chaos and destruction.
Baphomet. That sounds like a boss battle waiting to happen. What's his deal?
His motivations are shrouded in mystery, but he's a recurring antagonist in the game's story. He's always scheming, always looking for ways to disrupt the balance of power.
Sounds like a real troublemaker. But surely not all the creatures in Midgard are out to get you right. Are there any friendly races or beings that adventurers might encounter?
Of course. There are the Lafines, a race of fairy-like creatures who dwell in the enchanted forests of Alfheim.
Lafines. They sound adorable. What are they like?
They're small, delicate creatures with butterfly wings and a deep connection to nature. They're known for their healing magic and their peaceful nature.
Sounds like the perfect allies for adventurers. Any other friendly faces out there?
There are the Dorum, a race of feline humanoids from the island of Lasagna.
Dorum. Cat people. That's awesome.
They're known for their agility, their sharp claws, and their skill in magic.
So they're like the ninja cats of Ragnarok Online.
Something like that. They're often found working as alchemists, merchants, and even assassins.
Wow. This world is full of surprises. I'm starting to think that Midgard is a lot more diverse than I initially imagined.
Diversity is definitely one of its hallmarks. From the creatures to the landscapes to the cultures, there's always something new and fascinating to discover.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey so far. We've explored the history, the politics, the geography, and now the creatures of Midgard. I'm starting to feel like a seasoned adventurer myself.
And we haven't even touched on the items, artifacts, and weapons that play a role in the story of Ragnarok Online.
Oh, that's right. Magic swords, enchanted armor, mystical potions, the stuff of legends. Let's dive into the treasure trove of Ragnarok Online.
Excellent idea, and what better place to start than with the Heart of Ymir itself?
Okay, we've talked about the Heart of Ymir a lot, but I'm still not entirely clear on what it actually does. IS. Is it a physical object? A source of energy? A mystical concept?
It's all of those things. It's the very foundation of the world, the source of its magic and life force, and its scattered fragments are said to hold unimaginable power.
So it's like the ultimate MacGuffin. Everyone's chasing after it, but no one truly understands its full potential.
That's a good way to put it. And the sources hint that the Heart of Ymir may even have a will of its own, influencing events in ways we can't even comprehend.
Whoa, a sentient world-creating artifact. That's some next-level stuff. But let's talk about some of the more tangible items. What about legendary weapons? Are there any magic swords or staffs that adventurers seek out?
There's Guarding Wind, a legendary sword said to have belonged to the god Baldur himself. It's a symbol of light and hope, and its power is said to be unmatched.
A divine blade. Now that's something I'd want in my inventory. What about magical items? Any powerful amulets or enchanted rings that could give adventurers an edge?
There's the Ring of the Ancient Wise King, a ring imbued with ancient knowledge and the power to decipher lost languages.
The Ring of the Ancient Wise King. Okay, I'm officially adding that to my wish list.
Yeah.
Imagine all the ancient texts you could decipher, all the lost civilizations you could uncover.
It's a good reminder that knowledge is power, and even the smallest items can hold immense value if you know how to use them.
So we've got legendary weapons, magical artifacts, and even items that grant knowledge and understanding. It's like a treasure hunter's paradise. But I'm also curious about armor. Are there any enchanted suits of armor that could protect adventurers from harm?
There's the Glorious Set, a legendary armor said to have been worn by the heroes who founded Rune Midgards. It's renowned for its durability and its ability to enhance the wearer's strength.
Armor worn by heroes. I'd feel invincible wearing that. But it makes me wonder, with all these powerful items scattered throughout Midgard, how do people obtain them? Are they found in hidden dungeons, passed down through generations, or maybe forged by skilled artisans?
Obtaining legendary items in Ragnarok Online is often a challenging and rewarding endeavor. Some are indeed hidden in dangerous dungeons, guarded by fearsome monsters. Others are crafted by master artisans using rare materials and ancient techniques.
So it's a combination of exploration, skill, and a bit of luck. Sounds like the perfect challenge for a seasoned adventurer. But I'm also curious about those rune stones we keep hearing about. They're not exactly natural artifacts, are they?
Rune stones are a product of human ingenuity, or perhaps human arrogance, depending on your perspective. They're artificial replicas of those Heart of Ymir fragments, created by Varmund in his quest to understand and replicate the power of creation.
So they're like knockoff versions of the ultimate power source. It's both impressive and a little bit terrifying, don't you think?
It definitely raises some ethical questions. Are we, as humans, justified in trying to replicate such power? And what are the potential consequences of our actions?
It's a question worth pondering, especially in our own world, where technology is advancing at such a rapid pace. We have to be careful not to overstep our bounds and create something we can't control.
The story of Ragnarok Online, with its themes of ambition, power, and the consequences of unchecked scientific advancement, serves as a cautionary tale for our own times.
It's a reminder that even in a world of fantasy and adventure, there are real-world implications to our actions. We have to be mindful of the choices we make.
It's about finding a balance between progress and responsibility, between harnessing the power of technology and respecting the limits of our understanding.
Well said. This deep dive has taken us on a fascinating journey through the world of Ragnarok Online, exploring its history, its factions, its geography, its creatures, and its legendary items. It's a world rich in detail, full of wonder and danger, and ultimately a reflection of our own hopes, fears, and ambitions.
And the story continues to unfold. With new chapters being written and new adventures awaiting, the world of Ragnarok Online remains a captivating and thought-provoking realm for those seeking both entertainment and a deeper understanding of the human condition.
It's like a reminder that even in a virtual world, the stories we tell and the choices we make can have a lasting impact.
Indeed. And the world of Ragnarok Online is a testament to the enduring power of storytelling and the ability of games to transport us to worlds beyond our wildest imaginations.
Well, that's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this epic deep dive into the world of Ragnarok Online.
It's been a pleasure exploring this world with you.
Until next time, may your adventures be legendary. It's amazing how these items aren't just objects, they're practically characters themselves. They've got history, they've got power, and sometimes they've even got a bit of personality.
Absolutely. And just like the characters who wield them, these items often come with their own stories, legends, and sometimes even warnings.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me the juicy lore. Any specific tales or myths associated with these legendary items?
Take Mjolnir, for example, Thor's legendary hammer. The stories say it was forged by dwarven blacksmiths, using the heart of a dying star.
A hammer forged from a star. Talk about epic craftsmanship. No wonder it packs such a punch. But I'm also curious about items that are a bit more, shall we say, problematic. Cursed artifacts, maybe. Things adventurers should think twice about before grabbing.
There's Turfing, a cursed sword said to bring misfortune to its wielder. It's a powerful blade, no doubt, but it comes with a heady price. It's a reminder that power can be a double-edged sword, literally in this case.
A cursed sword. That's giving me some serious Macbeth vibes. But it makes me think, with all these powerful items scattered throughout Midgard, are there any groups dedicated to protecting them, like some sort of ancient order of librarians? but for magical artifacts.
Well, we've already talked about the Assassin's Guild and their role in maintaining balance. Part of that balance involves safeguarding powerful artifacts, making sure they don't fall into the wrong hands.
All right, the assassins. They're like the secret keepers of Midgard's treasures. It's fascinating how they operate in the shadows, influencing events without ever taking center stage.
Their methods might be unorthodox, but their goal is to prevent any one faction from becoming too powerful. And that includes controlling access to powerful artifacts.
It's a reminder that even in a world of fantasy, there are forces working behind the scenes, trying to keep things from spiraling into chaos. It's a lot of responsibility.
It is, and it makes you wonder about the individuals within the Assassin's Guild. What kind of person dedicates their life to such a shadowy existence? What motivates them?
Okay, my mind is officially blown. This deep dive has taken us on an incredible journey through the world of Ragnarok Online. We've explored its ancient history, its diverse landscapes, its fascinating creatures, and its legendary items. It's a world that's both captivating and thought-provoking, a testament to the power of imagination and storytelling.
And as we wrap up this exploration, I think it's important to remember that the world of Ragnarok Online, while fantastical, reflects many of our own real-world complexities. The struggles for power, the ethical dilemmas of technological advancement, and the consequences of our choices, these are all themes that resonate far beyond the realm of fantasy.
So if you had to boil it all down, what would you say is the biggest takeaway for our listeners? What's the one thing you hope they'll remember from this deep dive?
I think it's the realization that even in a world of magic and monsters, it's ultimately our choices that define who we are. Whether we're wielding a legendary sword or simply navigating the challenges of daily life, our actions have consequences. It's a reminder to be mindful, to make choices that align with our values, and to strive to leave a positive impact on the world around us.
Beautifully said. It's a message that transcends any specific world or story. It's a call to action, a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference. So to all our listeners out there, remember the lessons of Ragnarok Online. Be brave, be curious, be kind, and above all, choose wisely.
Thanks for joining us on this epic journey through the world of Ragnarok Online.
Until next time, may your adventures be legendary.